Hello, and welcome to another Monday's live stream here on Social Media Executive channel on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook, hello as well. Today, I've got a very special guest, Paul Raisbeck, who's going to be talking to us about how to make your social media marketing profitable, particularly focused at small new businesses as well. So, like always, welcome to our live streams. I'm Bex from Social Media Executive, and I'm live every Monday at 12:30, sharing lots of tips and advice on social media. So today I've got Paul. He's going to be sharing some really great nuggets of information about how to really build the foundations of a successful business and how that impacts on social media as well. So Paul is, I'm going to let Paul introduce himself, but Paul is a fantastic business coach, particularly working with small businesses, helping them to develop a strong foundation for growth. So if you're watching live, please do say hello in the chat, introduce your business, tell us what you do, market your business in the chat. If you're watching on catch up, if you've got any questions as well, do post them in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. And oh, hi Amanda, thanks for saying hello. Amanda's here. She says, long time no see, Paul. You must know.
I was going to say, nice to see Amanda turning up. Yeah.
So go on then, Paul. I'll hand you over. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're going to be talking about today.
A little bit about me. Yes. Well, as you say, I'm in the business coaching arena, and I'm now moving more across to a sort of online sort of presence rather than sort of mostly face to face. And my focus really is on sort of using my knowledge, skills, and experience from the past to sort of help to give new business owners a solid foundation for their business going forward. I don't know about you, but I was never taught how to run a business at school.
No, not school.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's one of those things that's a real sort of gap in a lot of our knowledge, and people coming into a small business. I might actually touch on it later on, the Dunning-Kruger effect, but I'll leave that for the moment. Don't get too technical.
Sounds intriguing.
But it's one of the things I see, and you probably do as well, Bex, is people start, people have a brilliant idea for a product or a service. And then it's almost like their next thought is, okay, Facebook ads campaign.
Yeah, straight to the chase. They don't even test it, do they? They don't even test
absolutely.
it with their audience. They just go, right, let's start advertising. Yeah.
And that really, to me, it's the gap between those two things, I think, which to me, I think is really important, because otherwise it can just leave so much out there, and it almost is the cause in some ways of sort of businesses not doing particularly well, or in worst case completely failing. And I saw a classic example just recently on Facebook. Someone said they'd started a new business selling cosmetics. Great, that's fine. Started it 3 months ago, but no one's buying my stuff. I've been advertising all over Facebook. Can anyone give me any help? And from the comments below, and there's about 40 or 50 comments below, and her responses, it was very clear that was literally the only two ideas she's had. I'm going to sell something, and I'm going to go on Facebook. And that was sort of the chrysalis for in some senses for for my sort of thoughts today, which I was going to go through.
And I think it's really sad as well, isn't it? Because people have these amazing business ideas, and it's in their head that it's amazing and it's going to do, excuse the dog, someone's at the door. Can you hear that? The joys of live streaming. But yeah, you have an amazing idea, and they go straight to sell. And social media isn't about selling; it's about building your community, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's all the things in the background, which is what I was, what I really want to sort of go through today. And I was going to say, if that's a good point, do you want to flip to the slides, and then we'll go on from there?
Yeah, we're going all technical today. We're doing slide sharing.
Well, we hope we're going technical.
Yeah, we hope so. There we go. Oh, it's working.
So you can see that all okay, can you?
Yes, it's looking good.
Brilliant. Okay, so and this is what I've just what I was just saying. That's interesting. Are we going to get a next slide coming on? We might not be.
Come on, click it. See what happens.
I just have, and it's not going through.
Well, if you can minimize your screen so that you can't see, the
let me
StreamYard.
stop sharing there.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
I think
I can do it. I can do it without, but it's going to be a bit interesting.
okay.
But what I was going to do was actually sort of take people through a bit of an exercise which they can follow through at home as well. Let me just do a little bit of shuffling around on my screen so that I can see what I'm talking about here. But yeah, what I mean, people at home can sort of follow this through. And what I'd say is just grab a pen and a piece of paper, ideally a sort of A4 piece of paper. And well, you've come prepared, Bex. Well done.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah. And just draw a big circle in the middle of the screen, because what we're going to do is I was talking then about people have the idea and they go straight to Facebook, but in many senses, sort of building up to that, it's almost like putting a cake together. It's like baking a cake, and having a good idea for a good product or a service, whatever, that's great, but that's just that's the flour, as it were. You need all the other ingredients and bits and pieces to go with it. So what we're going to do, and sorry if you're on a diet, but we're going to be talking cakes today. But
yes, not good. I've eaten too many recently.
You've just been on holiday, so that's allowed. That's allowed. So if you just draw a large circle on the piece of paper as you've got there, and then if you just draw a line through the center from sort of 12 o'clock down to 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Then another one from 3 o'clock across to 9.
So we've got some quarters.
And then if you put 2 more in so that you end up with 8 segments of cake.
Okay, so we're going to be sharing this cake. That's
We're going
just
to be sharing the cake. Yeah.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is we're just going to mark each one of those. So at the 12 o'clock position, if you just on the outside of the circle at the 12 o'clock position, that's right.
Yeah.
If you just write in there vision, mission, and purpose.
Okay.
And I'll come back once we put all these in, and I'll then sort of explain them in more detail.
Like that.
But, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. So next one round to the right is business plan.
Business plan. Okay. It's a bit like we rehearsed this with losing the slides, isn't it? There we go.
Then the 3 o'clock position. 3 o'clock position is mindset.
Okay.
And then financials is the next one.
Financials. Yep.
And at 6 o'clock position, key performance indicators or KPIs.
KPIs. We always love a good KPI.
KPI. Next one is systems and processes.
Okay. Processes. Whew. Okay.
And then marketing.
Marketing.
And finally sales.
And then sales. Okay, so we should have something that looks like this.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Now, the idea of this is each one of these is to help give you an indication of where you are with your particular business and the strengths of how your business is in relation to building up to that strong marketing, social media campaign, and everything else. And just to go round, I mean, it just fairly clear, vision, mission, and purpose. Your vision is your sort of long-term aim for what your business will look like when you finished it in however many years' time. Your mission is what you're going to do for people, and the purpose is why you're doing it. So that's really your sort of long-term strategic aim sort of idea. Business plan is turning your vision, mission, and purpose, your strategy, into more of a sort of tactical way of actually enacting what your strategy is going to be. For that, I usually use a thing called business model canvas, but again, I'll come to that later if we want to come back onto it. Mindset, clearly, as a small business owner, whether you like it or not, life is going to be a roller coaster. And anything that you can do, we can do, I can do to help us to build in that sort of resilience, and that understanding about life is never going to be, all unicorns and rainbows all the time, can help us to sort of really build into that. And there's many tools there. Stoic philosophy is one of mine. I think that's a brilliant way of sort of helping with mindset. Financials, again, financials, a lot of people would, sort of run away from, and they let the money sort of drive them rather than them drive the money. But financials is all about your profit margins, understanding your pricing, and keeping track of all the money going around. Key performance indicators. This links in with financials, but it's all about tracking. It's no coincidence that when you hear Boots or Marks and Spencer's on the radio or the TV, they're always talking in figures, and they're saying sales is up by 4%, costs are down by 3%, etc., etc. Key performance indicators. What gets measured gets done in a business, and we all need to have key performance indicators in place.
And I think that's really interesting as well, isn't it? As well, it's also having the right key performance indicators.
Yeah.
Because I think on social media, particularly, people focus on the wrong ones. They focus on the number of followers they've got. And yeah, I always ask them, but the number of followers are not going to pay your bills. Are those followers buying from you or helping you to lever more brand awareness in the areas that you want? So it is really interesting. Keep KPIs. Yeah. It's about having the right KPIs that are going to benefit your business financially, isn't it?
Exactly. And we quite often do link KPIs in with financials, but they can be anything. And this is one thing I always say, is that if they work for you, then use them. I knew a small business owner many years ago who ran a light engineering company, and from his office window he could look out and he could see the skip in the yard where all the scrap metal went, and that was one of his KPIs, because if he saw the skip being filled up too quickly, he realized, he knew then that there was something not going right in the workshop.
Yeah.
So KPIs, don't always need to be financial or figures or sort of like YouTube and analytics led. They can be anything that works for you. So systems and processes. Again, I think a lot of small businesses often think that systems and processes don't matter to them because they're just a single person business or something. I would disagree. Putting systems and processes in place right from the start of this is really important. Because they lead in and they help with your marketing, and clearly marketing is something obvious, and then sales is sales as well. Now that's just to explain all the sort of 8 segments there. What I'd like people to do now is to look at that, and if you imagine that the middle of the circle is a score of 0,
okay, and
the outside of the circle is a score of 10, is to mark yourself where you think you are. So 0 is poor, and okay, 10 is couldn't be better. So it's to mark yourself where you think you are on each one of those 8 lines.
Right.
So if you've got a really good, clear vision, mission, and purpose, you might put it quite close towards the outside edge of the circle to denote an 8 or a 9 score, for example.
Okay.
Or if you're not sure about your financials, then you might put that down as a 2 or a 3.
Okay.
And so you just go around and do it for all of them and see. Don't take hours over it. Just what what naturally you think you are when it comes to that.
My business plan is definitely lacking. I'm pretty good on marketing.
Can I just say, Bex, the idea of this is not to put you on the spot. So if you just want to make up numbers so that you're not sharing them with the world, then we'll be happy.
I'm happy to let people know what my flaws are. You're fine.
This wasn't meant to be a live coaching session for you.
Yeah. I'm doing. We're doing it. I hope everybody tell me what you're good at in the chat. Tell us what you're good at and what you're bad at. Systems and process actually is quite a good one. Mine could certainly be better, but they are a lot better than they were. I know when I first started out in business, I was like, oh, it's just me. I don't need any systems and processes. But since I've started implementing systems for my content creation on social media, systems for scheduling on social media, systems for advertising on social media, systems, just simple systems like what am I going to talk about on a Monday? Things like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, and they don't need to be complicated. And I'd always say as well, start with the basics and then move up to the more complex, because there may, even if you are, if someone's a single person business, there may be that day when they say, actually, I want to outsource some of this to somebody, a virtual assistant or something. And having those basics in place just saves so much time of trying to explain it live to somebody.
Yeah.
and going across. Yeah.
Gary said that he's lacking on his KPIs. That's something that he needs to improve upon. Do you want me to score everyone? How are we getting a score now?
Just put a mark in each one of them.
Sales, okay, do that one. KPIs, key performance indicators. Financials, I'm pretty good on my financials. Mindset, I'm okay on mindset. Okay, vision, mission, purpose. Yeah, could definitely improve on that one. Right, I've done it.
Okay, so what you need to do now is to join those dots. So join the mark of each one of those.
Okay.
And then when you've done that, see how smooth your wheel is.
So we've got a bit of a spider's web there for Halloween. They're not going to be very impressed, those spiders, are they?
Yeah, actually, yeah, good point. Yeah, it's nothing to do with Halloween. I hadn't thought about it in that much depth, I have to say. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's just a sort of a very simple sort of tool to look at and go, okay, where are the sort of weaker areas? Where are the stronger areas in my business? Because if you're, this is the gap between bright idea and your marketing, your social media, and everything else. Because the other thing as well, that when you get towards the marketing, if you go round this like a clock and you start off at the 12 o'clock and you go round towards the sales, as you go round, what these are all doing, they're all building strong foundations in place for when you get to your marketing and your sales. Because if you've got a good business plan and you've got clarity about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and you've got the mindset which is going to take you through, and you're very strong on your pricing, where your profit margins in, you're going to be making money on what you're doing. Yeah. You're going to be able to record all the stuff, and you're going to be able to deal with all the extra work coming in from your good marketing. It's all like compound interest. So it's all building up and giving a really good foundation for when your marketing goes out, that it's absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
Because as you would say, when someone reads that marketing, they read it and say, this person is talking to me. They're not talking to everybody, they're talking to me, because they've got the vision, mission, and purpose, they've got the clarity, they've got the business plan, they know everything that's going on. And then, of course, sales is always another area where people think they're weak. The reality is it's possibly because they don't have that strong foundation behind them of belief in themselves and belief in their product or service. Because if you've got really good marketing, which only talks directly to your ideal client, and you've got that certainty about yourself and about your product or service, when it comes to sales, it makes the whole thing so much easier. Does that make sense?
It kind of sells itself, doesn't it? And it's interesting. Amanda said vision, mission, and purpose scores the highest for her. But actually, what you're saying is actually, if you have got vision, mission, purpose, and you've got all these cogs of the wheel in place, then your sales, in theory, should come quite naturally.
It helps, but what Amanda's got to do now is say, right, how am I going to take that vision, mission, and purpose and put it into a business plan, which I can then start to act out and bring all those other elements of it into place. And I mentioned earlier, I use a thing called business model canvas. And I think Amanda, you'll have come across this as well.
I've done it as well. Yeah, Amanda did it in an innovation program through Chester University.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to find, it's on Synergize. Actually, if you just type in business model canvas into Google, it will take you to the website of the people who actually run it, and it's Creative Commons stuff, so you can download, and it's really good because it's just a single page. But the great thing for me that it does is it ties together all elements of the business in the same way as this does as well, because it helps you to look at what's your value proposition, who's your ideal client, what's your relationship going to be with the clients, what are the channels you're going to use to get to them, and then how does the financials fit into that? How are you going to actually make money from it? Who do your key partners need to be? Who are the key relationships you need to build up, and all that sort of stuff. And it's a really good way of doing it. And the great thing about it is because it's only one page, you can stick on your desk, you can have it as a screensaver. It doesn't just get thrown in a drawer with like a sort of 40-page business plan tends to get done in the old days.
Hidden in the files of your computer, which I keep discovering all these great great tools I was using 3 years ago that I'd forgotten about because they're hidden away in my computer. Yeah.
And the other thing I was going to say as well is that, I mean, I'm talking about this now as from a sort of startup business perspective, but the reality is, if even if you're a sort of more mature business and you're coming out with a new product or a new service, something which is sort of relatively different to what you've done before, you can use this in the same sort of ways. So you can just confirm that it still fits with your vision, mission, and purpose. Because if it's something completely odd, that should be ringing alarm bells. If it doesn't fit with what you do, it should be ringing alarm bells. And then you can create a business plan specifically for the new product or service, and then work out the financials, what the KPIs are, and everything else as it goes round. So you can use it at different levels through your business, depending on how mature your business is and how many different products and things you have as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I've used this method just recently. I've just launched my social media. It's like special days of the year wall planner, and it goes on your wall. And again, I've kind of developed it because I like things on the wall. Over here, I've got my whiteboard where I put all my information to remind me. And yeah, there are tools that you can use online. So there are special days of the year that you can, look up online, and there are various sites that tell you what day is it today. Is it Beer Day Britain, or is it, International Joke Day? But actually, there was nothing that you could just stick on the wall and just go, oh yeah, today, this week, we're a bit stuck on social media, we can do this. Because what I found with most of my clients is content. Social media content is the hardest thing. It's one of the things time and time again that comes up. I can show them, I can teach them how to use it every platform, but actually then they've got to come up with the ideas and the content. So I use this a little bit about this wheel to develop my calendar. And I only went on pre-orders for 2 weeks, and I've already more than hit 50% of my target sales, which I was blown away by, because obviously, potentially it's got a 4-5 month shelf life, this, by the new year. But interesting from what you were saying, I really did, for this particular product, really look at where was the business plan, how I was going to sell it, mindset, but the financials as well. How many did I need to sell in order to make that profit? But actually, what is the main purpose of my wall planner? It's actually not to sell the products. It's to help raise my brand awareness. So again, it's about understanding, isn't it, what those products are and how they interlinked with each other.
But it fits in. It fits in as part of your sort of elevator of different products that that people will buy. But it fits in with you. If you'd done a wall planner on, I don't know, something, international air shows, it wouldn't have fitted in with your what you do and how you do it. So by just going through the whole process, just make sure that just everything fits together. And I think this, that the business model canvas in particular is really useful. But this wheel as well, just as a way of looking at it and thinking, okay, where are the weak areas? I'm really one for giving people something to look at and for them to do the thinking to a large extent. If people just tell us something, we don't learn a massive amount. But if someone goes away now with this wheel and starts thinking about it and goes, okay, well, that's interesting. So, I'm weak on KPIs. So what is it about KPIs that I don't understand, or I don't do, or how could I do it better? And the idea should be that they expand the wheel, their own wheel, out towards the edge as smoothly as they can, because it's no use having a brilliant product or brilliant marketing if you haven't got the systems and processes in place to deal with all the inquiries that come in. So it's all got to be nice and sort of evenly spaced so that the wheel is able to roll, as it were.
Unlike mine, seriously, is not going to go very far, is it? Some work to do, I think, on my vision and my mission. But it's interesting, and I think as a small business, it does change, doesn't it? Massively. Yeah. My vision and mission has changed massively since when I launched just over 3 years ago to what it is now.
And that's another point. I think that all these things are something to be reviewed, and to go back and that's why we have 90-day planning days, and we have people is that opportunity for people to go back and say, okay, what's changed, what's stayed the same, what do I want to change, what do I want to stay the same, and then actually sort of think about it from there as to how things are developing. And sometimes they develop in ways that we don't intend or expect, but that sitting back and looking at it almost like from a third person perspective just helps us to get that clarity, I think.
And I think it comes back round, doesn't it, full circle from what you were saying at the beginning, to make your social media marketing profitable and effective. You've got to have these foundations in place, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got to understand what your vision is and your mission is. And all too often people come into social media with a quick, I need to sell this product, with a quick fix. And it's not. Your social media is all about ingraining it into your wider business objectives, looking at it for the future, not for, oh, quick, I need to sell something this week, because that doesn't necessarily work, does it?
And that's back to, as you were saying, earlier on about the KPIs and, the likes, identifying which are the things. And you're actually, from the perspective of it's not, it's the snail, the tortoise and the hare sort of thing, to expect something very, very quickly. Yes, it does happen every now and again for sort of 1% of businesses, but for 99% of businesses, I think, we all have to lay the foundation and then build on that, brick by brick, and sort of build up. But it does, I think it does also start to sort of, if the groundwork is done, it makes that sort of rise a lot quicker and a lot easier when it does come.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, well, that's been really, really interesting. And I can't believe we're nearly out of time already. I love, is there any sort of final little snippets you want to share before we finish, Paul?
No, I think it's just for people to recognize that the foundations to me are key. And I sorry, I keep going back to this, but it's getting all the right ingredients in place, for the cake. It's getting everything together, mix them together, and just knowing that they all need to be there. And as much as we might not like financials, we might not like KPIs or something, it's got to be done if we're going to move forward. And I think that's a sort of a really key thing. Yeah.
And you've got a fantastic startup foundation program as well, haven't you, for small businesses? Just talk quickly about that.
Yeah, it's primarily online, 12-week course, primarily online, but there's a sort of group coaching session every 2 weeks where we all get together on a Tuesday morning, as you know, because you were on the last one.
Yes, thank you.
As a guest.
As a special guest presenter.
But yeah, primarily online, so it's self-paced learning for people to go through, and it essentially covers all these points that we've talked about today, but a lot more detail, plus a couple of others as well, just to give people that good solid foundation. It's aimed primarily at startup businesses in the first 18 months, although interestingly, someone's just joined who's been running their business a number of years now, but realized they've got some large gaps in some of these areas.
Okay.
And £450 for the 12 months, for the 12 weeks, and a money back guarantee. If they don't like it after 4 weeks, they get their money back. So very low risk.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant. Well, what I'll do is I'll put in the comments how to contact Paul. So if you're interested, do contact Paul. He comes highly recommended. He's also been a TEDx speaker. TEDx speaker for Northwich as well, weren't you? So please do look him up on LinkedIn, where he'd be happy to connect with you guys. Thanks for you people who said thank you. That was really helpful. Thanks, Sam. And Amanda can highly recommend Paul as well. So thank you very much for coming along today.
Okay.
And Irene, yes, Irene's going to look at her KPIs. Well, that is a great result. So thank you. Thanks for coming along today, Paul. It's been really interesting. Thank you to everybody for watching. Next week, I'm going to be talking to you about how to find social media content ideas, because I do know that is something that you all struggle with as well. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next Monday at 12:30 for lots of social media content ideas. Okay? Thanks, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.